Hey, what's up guys? So Emanon here, and welcome to another future match commentary on the channel today. So this is going to be another round 7 match, my online Discord tournament. I know the video I uploaded earlier today was also from round 7, but I just had to feature this one because you guys read the title. This is going to be Sinindo on Dogmatika Myutant of all decks versus Avici's on Zoodiac Eldlich. So this should be fairly exciting, not only because it's featuring Mutant, but also because both these players are currently 4-2. Moving into round 7, which means that whoever wins this match will actually make it to the top 16 of this tournament. 77 players in total, if you guys are wondering. But if you guys do want to play in the next tournament, definitely go ahead and check out the link to the Discord server in the description box below as usual. And now let's get started with this match without any further ado. So it looks like Dogmatika Myutant did win the RPS here and is going to choose to go first. Both players playing 40 cards. And the opening hand for Dogmatika Myutant, even though it doesn't really look like a mutant hand, is going to be double DD Ground, Ecclesia, Dynamiscus, and Artifact Sanctum. So you can see it's a very trap-heavy lineup. Interesting to see this card in the main deck being DD Ground. I guess it's more of a meta call than anything else. Not really much to say. I will say I'm not very well-versed, surprisingly enough, in the mutant strategies, so I won't be able to point out the intricacies of what the deck is trying to do, but we will learn as we go, I suppose. But this hand definitely, it just looks like a trap-heavy hand, of course. Not too much to say here. And then the Zoodiac Eldlich hand is going to be White Destiny, Golden Lord, Ram, Thoroughblade, and Skullmeister. So this is interesting. Has a hand trap, though I'm not sure what the strength of this hand trap in this matchup is going to be against at least the mutant half of it. Obviously, you can stop Titaniclad in the Dogmatika portion. But I think both players, I would say, open fairly well. So we're going to see the Dogmatika Mutant player start out with a copy of Ecclesia being normal summon, and that's going to grab a Search for Punishment. And then going to set 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 cards, everything. Just going to pass on this. Not fearing any Harpy's Feather Dusters game 1. For turn, the top deck is going to be Ash Blossom, which is a little bit late to stop the Ecclesia search. But overall, should be pretty good if this matchup aims to grind, which it probably will, given how these decks are operating. So he's going to use Eldritch Effect first, that is going to hit the DD Ground, which it looks like Sinindo opts not to chain. I do like this because Punishment has to specifically send to the graveyard in order to actually get the pop off, and since there's already 2 copies of DD Ground, not really any harm in just letting that one go. You could argue maybe it was worth using, but I think this Punishment could come up this turn. So White Destiny going to be banished next. That's going to set Walkera from deck, and then going to use Eldritch in graveyard. That's going to send away Walkera to summon itself, and then he's going to normal summon a copy of Zoodiac Ram. And then on summon, we're going to see Sinindo activate the copy of Sanctum. That's going to be met with Ash. And then in response, he's going to chain Dogmatika Punishment to target the Ram. So that's going to send Titaniclad to pop the Ram. And then going to go to battle phase here. So they're going to attack over the Ecclesia for 2,000 damage, I believe. Yeah, and then going to go to end phase. Titaniclad is going to be met with the Skullmeister. And then looks like, let's see, we have Walkera engraved, so we can grab a copy of Scarlet as well. So both players kind of actually use a lot of cards during this turn. For turn, the top deck for Mutant is going to be Prosperity, which is definitely pretty good. Will help set up whatever engine he wants to. So that's going to banish 6. Oh, looks like he banished 1 too many. Going to put 1 back. And going to banish the top 6. That's going to reveal a whole bunch of mutant cards, but chooses the Nadir Servant over the rest of these. So that is pretty interesting. I guess we're playing pure Dogmatika game 1. But yeah, going to put the rest back to the bottom. And actually, let's check out what was banished from the extra deck here. It was Secure Gardener, Access Code, Entis. Totally awesome. That's a pretty interesting one. I do believe some of the mutants are waters. So this is an interesting card to send off of Servant or Punishment to grab resources back. Omega, as well as the synth. Oh, here's an example of one. Although I'm not sure if any of the main deck monsters are water. They might be. I'm not, again, super familiar. But we're going to activate Nadir Servant next. That is going to send a copy of Ultimus, the other fusion, and that's going to grab Maximus. So I actually had a failed recording of this video earlier today. This is my second take, and I accidentally said Ultimateness. That's not why I stopped the recording, but yeah, I kept calling this card Ultimateness, which was pretty funny. But yeah, going to grab Maximus off of that. And then going to banish the Titaniclad next. That is going to summon out Maximus from hand. And then from here, going to activate Maximus Effect. And that's going to send Synthesis and Almirage on this side. I'm not really sure if these have graveyard effects. I should probably read these cards. Alright, so if this card is fusion summoned, you can target 1 card in the field, destroy it. When your opponent activates a card or effect as a quick effect, you can activate this effect for the rest of the turn. This face-up card is unaffected by the effects of an opponent's cards of the same type, monster, spell, or trap as that card. If this fusion summon card you control is destroyed by an opponent's card, you can add one of your banished mutant cards to the hand. So it doesn't do anything in grave, but I'm pretty sure they have like a Miracle Fusion-esque card to be able to fuse out of the graveyard. I'm pretty sure. I'm not 100% certain. But Ultimus here says when a card effect is activated, you can banish one mutant card from your hand, graveyard, or face-up field of the same type, being monster, spell, or trap. Negate the activation if you do banish that card. If this fusion summon card you control is destroyed by an opponent's card, you can add up to 3 of your banished mutant cards, up to 1 of each of monster, spell, or trap, to your hand, and you can only use each effect of Ultimus once per turn. Alright, so neither of these are going to have value immediately, looks like for the time being. But Avises is going to send Anaconda and Dragoon, so there's a little bit of insight on this deck as well. So going to go to end phase, activate Scarlet, and that's going to summon out another copy of Golden Lord from deck. Also, the reason why I stopped the other recording, if you guys are wondering, is a bit of a side tangent, but I hit fast forward by accident, that's why. The top deck is going to be Conquistador, so this is definitely not too bad. Dynamiscus is not online, so all he has to really do is out the Maximus, which shouldn't be too hard. He's going to link those away for a copy of Vampire Sucker. Interesting finding space in this deck for it. Going to set Conquistador and then activate Golden Lord effect in the graveyard. That's going to summon itself. Oh, he's going to attempt to activate Vampire Sucker, but this actually doesn't summon itself from the grave directly. Most people do it as a shorthand just because it's faster, but it actually adds first and then specials a zombie from your hand, which doesn't even have to be itself. So yeah, Vampire Sucker doesn't actually get the draw here since it wasn't specialed from the graveyard. It's pretty easy to kind of mix that up, but we'll see if that ends up mattering. I don't think it will. Mostly because I already watched the replay and it doesn't actually matter. Gonna know summon Zoodiac Thoroughblade next, and then go into Borbo, and then in battle phase gonna attack with the Maximus, and then gonna attack with the Borbo for 16, and then attack with the Vampire Sucker for another 16, and then in main phase 2 going to overlay for Tiger Mortar, and then Shakanine, and then Hammer Kong, and then Trident, and then Zeus. So that is a 6 Matt Zeus. Is that a 6 or is that a 5? It is 6. All right, kind of hard to count on DB here. Yeah, gonna chain DD Ground in response, so that's going to banish the Eldlich and the Vampire Sucker. Not a big deal though, because obviously there's another Golden Lord in graveyard. And then end phase gonna activate both Conquistador and Scarlet to set the other two from deck, and this is gonna be pretty hard for mutants to come back from. Draws Arsenal, which is one of the bricks, so that is going to be game 1 going to Zoodiac Eldlich. So that was a pretty interesting back and forth. I do wonder if the game would have been different if the mutant cards actually were, doing anything in that game, but regardless, we're going to move into game 2, and it looks like Dogmatika Myutant is going to start things off again. If you guys are enjoying this video, definitely be sure to leave a like and subscribe if you're new here and want to see more commentary similar to this style. But the opening hand for Mutant this time around is going to be double copies of Expansion, ST46, Artifact Sanctum, and Ice Dragon's Prison. So we're going to read these. Also, I should mention this right now. Leave a comment if you would prefer me to actually read these aloud, or if you would want me to just hover over the description boxes and have you guys pause the video and read these for yourselves. Either way works fine for me, but just let me know in the comments. But we're just going to read these just because we want to be familiar with these, I suppose. So Expansion reads, when you activate this card, you can take one level 4 or lower mutant monster from your deck and either add it to your hand or special summon it. If a level 8 or higher mutant monster you control would be destroyed by card effect, you can banish this card from your control instead. And you can activate one expansion for turn. And the SC46 says, if this card is normally special summon, you can add one mutant spell or trap, obviously because ST, from your deck to your hand. I like cards that kind of indicate what they do based on their name or their artwork. ABC is another good example because those are color coded. But you contribute this card, then banish one card from your hand or face-up field. Special summon one monster from your hand or deck based on the banished card. Monster is Mutant Beast, spell is Mist, and then trap is Arsenal. And you can use each effect of SC46 once per turn. The Mutant M05, I believe, is the other one. Does almost the same thing. It's just adds a monster, or adds or specials. I can't actually remember, but hopefully it'll come up so I can reread it. But we're going to see a normal summon of SC46. Well, I actually didn't look at the Zoodiac Eldlich player's hand. It's Skullmeister, Double Ash, Walk Hero, and Golden Lord. So no Zeus, but a couple hand traps and Eldlich cards. But yeah, SC46 is going to activate. That is going to grab a copy Mutant Cry. So this one says, during the main phase, fusion summon one mutant fusion monster from your extra deck by shuffling the fusion materials listed on it into the deck from among your cards on the field in your graveyard and or face of banished cards. So this is it's not a miracle fusion, but this is what allows you to utilize your graveyard as a resource for your fusions. which is where the Dogmatika synergy, I suppose, comes in. But SC46 is going to be activated. That's going to tribute itself and then banish expansion, but that gets met with Ash Blossom. And then just going to set 4 and then pass. For turn, the top deck is going to be Droll and Lockbird. Pretty interesting choice here. I guess it's good against the Dogmatika part of the deck if you open to do Servant specifically. Also, we saw Prosperity, which makes sense. So he's going to Golden Lord. That's going to pitch Walkero and then hit a random back row. Hits the Mutant Cry, so doesn't have the target to actually fuse with yet. But that's just going to be a pass. End phase, going to activate Mutant Expansion. That is going to grab a Search. Just kidding, it's not, because it's going to get ashed. And then it looks like Walkero is going to set a copy of Scarlet. So, yeah, both players not really opening that great right now. The top deck's going to be another copy of Mutant Cry, which is not going to be helpful. Didn't really do anything last time around. End phase, going to activate Scarlet. That's going to summon a copy of Golden Lord from the deck. And then, ooh, looks like Ice Dragon's Prison is going to be activated. And that's going to be able to banish both Lords here. So actually not playing around the Ice Dragon's Prison. Could have summoned this from Graveyard to prevent that. But yeah, that is definitely very strong. So Zoodiac Eldlich is definitely not going to play 3 Golden Lord. I cannot foresee that happening. So yeah, basically we're playing pure Zoo at this point. The top deck's going to be another copy of Skullmeister, which is not ideal. It's going to be a pass after going for a copy of Conquistador off this Scarlet. For turn, the top deck's going to be another Ice Dragon's Prison. Geez, both players are bricking out the wazoo. Gonna pass, gonna activate Conquistador in the end phase. That is going to summon itself. And then draws for turn is a copy of Walkero, which, I mean, it's not really gonna serve as an interruption, just as a body, since, again, presumably all the Golden Lords are currently banished. Gonna turn the Conquistador into a Link Spider, and then set, and then pass, or rather attack, and then pass. For turn, the top deck's gonna be Ecclesia. Alright, this unlocks the hand a little bit. This can potentially allow Punishment to send the second mutant name for the Cry that is currently set. So that is definitely something to note, because I believe Synthesis just requires 2 different attributes of mutants. Going to go for Ecclesia, that's going to grab a search for, Fleur-de-Lis. She's going to go for this instead of the Punishment. Going to go for Fleur-de-Lis, and then go to Battle Phase, so trying to get him for damage here. So that's going to be 2,000 plus another 2,000, which is 4k total. And then going to pass on this, going to Conquistador in the end phase for Scarlet, and then pass on that. For turn, the top deck is going to be Tenki, which is definitely much needed. So going to activate Tenki, that's going to grab a search for Zoodiac Ram, and then going to normal Ram, and then on summon going to activate Sanctum. That is going to summon a copy of Scythe from deck, and that's going to basically, that's just going to be the end of the game. Was that game? We had 22 plus a big Fleur-de-Lis, and then Ecclesia to attack again. I guess Walkero wouldn't be enough to block at that point. Yeah, that actually probably was just going to be over. Wow, crazy turn of events there. But we didn't, again, get to see much of the mutant stuff. Hopefully, we'll be able to see more of the mutant stuff in Game 3, which, spoiler alert, we should. But the opening hand for Game 3, or in Game 3, rather, for Zoodiac Eldlich, who opts to go first, is going to be Tenki, Whiptail, Conquistador, White Destiny, and Cosmic Cyclone. So, yeah, it has both parts of the engine, which is pretty good. Obviously, no, like, Cursed Eldon or anything to pair with like the Trident, but fairly strong. And then the opening hand for Dogmatika Myutant is going to be Nadir Servant, Maximus Prosperity, SC46, and Ice Dragon's Prison. So definitely looking pretty solid. No hand traps to go second card specifically, but has a lot of like really, really powerful playmakers. Also, I almost forgot to do this, but I do want to quickly shout out my patrons before we get started into the actual match here. Thank you for supporting the channel. The long form and consistent content is made possible thanks to you guys. And just want to say that if you guys are interested in supporting the Patreon, go ahead and check it out in the description box below. But let's go ahead and carry on with this Game 3 here. So Tenki is going to be activated. That's going to grab a search for a copy of Zoodiac Ram. And then going to normal summon the Ram, go into Tiger Mortar, and then Trident, and then going to set 2 and pass. For turn, the top deck is going to be M05, so let's read this one. It adds, it doesn't special summon. Alright, just wanted to confirm this one. But yeah, basically the secondary effect is the exact same as SC46. So he's going to start with a copy of Prosperity that is going to banish 6, and look at the top 6. Hits a lot of good cards, but evenly matched is a pretty standout one there. That's one of the best things about Prosperity is that it literally just digs for side cards in games 2 and 3 extremely nicely. Like even a telegraphed evenly here is like fine because there's not a whole lot that can be done about it in this particular case. So we're going to activate evenly at the end of battle phase here. That's going to banish everything but the Trident. And then main phase 2, going to activate Nadir's Servant. That's going to send Entis and then add Fleur-de-Lis. Interesting. Chooses not to go for Ecclesia. And then, yeah, Entis pop the Trident and then going to summon ST46. That is going to grab Mutant Cry. Oh, that makes sense, actually, because there was no way Ecclesia was going to be able to summon itself after the Trident got popped with the Entis. Yeah, so went for this instead. Yeah, that makes sense. So SC46 added Cry, and then we're going to activate the other effect. That's going to attribute itself and banish the M05. That's going to summon out a copy of Beast. So this one says, cannot be special summoned except with the effect of a mutant card. Your opponent cannot target this card with monster effects. You can only use each of the following effects Beast once per turn. When your opponent activates a spell card or effect as a quick effect, you can banish one card from your hand or field and negate the activation. If you do, banish that card. If this card in its owner's possession is destroyed by an opponent's card, you can target one of your banished mutant traps, add it back to your hand. So we're going to see the banishing of Entis. That's going to summon up Maximus. And then Maximus is going to send 2 more. So going to be the Jasionek as well as Ultimate. I said Ultimateness again. Ultimus. So that's going to grab Ecclesia in the end phase here. And then the sends for Eldlich Zoodiac are going to be Dragoon and the Verte. So going to set 2, and then in the end phase, going to activate the Tentaclad for a copy of Ecclesia. And then Ecclesia going to activate in the end phase. That's going to grab a Search for Punishment. And then going to pass. So for turn, the top deck is going to be Zoodiac Thoroughblade. So really just not seeing Eldlich cards. Or rather, we're not able to cycle through them because the Conquistador did get banished. So looking pretty strong for Dogmatika Myutant here. Going to normal summon the Thoroughblade and then use the effect. He says thinking on summon. The summon will be fine here. So he's going to go Thoroughblade Chainlink 1 and then Ice Dragon Prison Chainlink 2. So Thoroughblade resolves. That's going to go Whiptail and then Red Reboot as the draw. So that's a bit late, and that's not going to really be doing a whole lot here. So that is going to be it for this match. We actually didn't really see a lot of mutants. I don't know why I thought we would see more mutant plays. So I apologize for that. I really thought that... I don't know. I don't know what I was thinking when I was looking at this replay. I'm going to be totally honest here. It was still pretty cool to see, though, like mutants as an engine. Unfortunately, we didn't get to see the Cry come down, which actually could have happened in this case, because we did have different attributes in the graveyard loaded up to be able to summon the Synthesis, I believe. So that would have been cool to see. But yeah, regardless, we're going to see more of this deck because Nintendo moves on to the top 16 with this deck. So if you're a little bit disappointed, don't worry, because I do plan on uploading all the top 16 matchups starting tomorrow. So this deck will definitely make an appearance once more. The top cut is still going underway. I believe we have a couple of top 4 matches to finish up, and then the finals, and then we'll be good to go. So Konami is probably not going to release a ban list for another week or so, which is perfect because it's going to be, 8 top 16 matches, and then 4 top 8 matches, and then 2 quarterfinal matches, 3rd place match, and then a finals match. So that should just straight up be 16 more videos after this. So yeah, look forward to a lot of videos, basically. There's going to be a lot of content for this tournament. But that's going to be it for the video, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed. If you did, be sure to leave a like as well as any thoughts or feedback in the comments. Subscribe for more informative and competitive Yu-Gi-Oh content. If you want to, you can follow me on all social media platforms or support me via Patreon, TCG Player. All the links in the description as usual. And until next time, I'll catch you in the next video. See you guys.